Hello, folks. I am back, and I'm doing a question and answer series on the AXG. I first want to thank everyone who responded to my previous videos regarding the AXG. I am really flattered that you guys took interest and gave me some compliments regarding that firearm. But I want to answer a couple of questions. There are actually two questions from two different people who contacted me on YouTube. And one of the questions just recently came from Chris Ragoon or Ragone. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, but he was noticed in my shooting video that when I was shooting the AXG, there was it appeared to be like weak ejections. And I really didn't notice it. I did notice in the beginning when I first started firing the roughly about the first 50 rounds that I did get hit in the face roughly about 3 times when the shell casings ejected. And then there were those casings that landed like right on the forearm over here when those casings came out, or they either landed on my shoulder. There were no malfunctions or anything of that nature, but it did. I didn't really pay attention to it uh, at first until Chris told me about it. He saw it really good with his eagle eye. He could see that the ejections weren't kind of coming out like he thought it should be. And at first, I thought it was going to be an ammo issue because usually when I have problems with something, it's usually with 9mm 115 grain ammo, and as opposed to 124. I know a couple of my firearms act a little funny with particular ammo, and also where I shoot at the range. You're limited when you buy ammo there to the brand that they are offering. So you might have two different brands and that's it, or the ammo of the day. But that's totally a different situation. Um, in this particular case, the only logical answer that I can give Chris is right now is that it's possibly break-in. I mean, it shouldn't make a difference between 115 grain or 124 grain because uh, a firearm should be able to function properly without having any differences in grain weight. I know that some firearms are a little picky that way. For example, the HK, VP9, it's specifically designed for 124 grain, but in this case, I can't make any excuses for it. So I'm just going to chalk it up to maybe it was a break in period because I went to the range today, fired another 100 rounds, and I had no problems. The ejection was coming out on at roughly about the 4 o'clock level. None of them beamed me in the head, none of them landed on my arm or on my shoulder. It was ejecting really well, and I use two different types of ammo. I'm going to show you the box right now. Here is the first box I started with. This is the Federal 115 grain range ammo, and this was the first box of, I would say, 100 that I fired. And like I said, 115 grain. So today when I was firing it, I shot a box of 50 of this same brand and I had no issues. And then I fired my last 50 with the PMC bronze. And as you see, this is 124. So I had no issues whatsoever on both of these firearms. Correction, both of these different types of ammo. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Also, there was a question that, and this person asked me this question a couple times. I'm sorry I got back to him late, but this is for Chase Compton. He wanted, and this is why you see the firearms apart. I had mentioned, and also is mentioned by Phil Strader, who's the product manager for Sauer, that the FCU that's in the AXG is also the FCU that they use in the Legion X5. So this is the Legion X5 right here. And we all know this is considered the firearm. And I'm going to show you right here. I'm going to flip it around and whatnot. Here is the other one. I'm going to flip it around and show you under here. And I'm going to do this again, and I'm going to put these together because uh, Chase's question was is there a difference between the FCUs of the Legion and the AXG? My understanding that there is no difference, and he wanted me to show him up close with it out. And I'm going to bring it a little closer so you can see there's no real difference. This looks like a little grease that's on the front right in there. That's a little grease right there. I tried to clean it off before I did the video. And I'm going to try to show it on the angle here. And if you look back here, there's no difference there. And right here, flip it underneath. And I'm going to flip right back to the side again. And what I did with both of these, I switched them and put them in the different frames. The Legion frame here, and I flipped it around and put it in the AXG frame. Both of them, when I switched them, there was no difference per se, and I'm going to explain what I mean by that. This is the Legion FCU. I have roughly about 2,300 rounds through the Legion firearm, and with this FCU, I have and like I said, I've been shooting this for quite some time, so I have somewhere around 2,300 rounds with this. So when I get this back together, I'm gonna show you what I feel the difference in the trigger. Right here, I'm still at virgin level with this. Right now, it's going to be roughly, I'm going to say about 600, 700 rounds. Um, I'll be shooting this again tomorrow, but it's roughly around 700 mark because the ammo shortage and what I can scrape up and to shoot. So both of these shoot very fine in either frame. Now, the reason why I said I think that there's a difference is because once you've been shooting this a while, it's going through its break-in and everything else. So your trigger tends to get a little smoother. With this one, it's a smooth trigger, but it's a little bit, you could tell it needs to be broken in a little more. And like I said, I have no problems with the trigger. It just probably needs to be broken a little more. It's probably going to get there once after I break the 1,000 round mark. So in any event, this feels a little softer and a little bit more. The word is escaping me, but it just feels like easy to shoot. This one is easy to shoot, but when you hit that definite wall there, that wall is kind of like it's like a little bit stout, I would say, but I'm pretty sure it's going to smooth out. So I'm going to get these firearms back together and I'm going to let you see what I'm talking about. Okay, folks, now that both of those firearms are back together, I just wanted to show you this little part about what I was talking about the trick with the trigger. I'm going to rack the slide a little bit, and you're going to see here, there's that take up right there, and when I pull, a little bit of mush, and right there. Now, holding that, here's your reset, and it's a little bit out there. So, now on the AXG, we're going to see there's that take up right there. And you're pulling, it's a little harder, and boom, right there. Now, I let it out, and you'll hear that tactile pop right there. Now, I don't know how well, I did it with my trigger finger or not. Uh, but to me, there was a little bit more of a pull on this one and versus this one. I'm going to see if I could do it again so you can see what I'm talking about. There's that gap right there, and there's the pull, pull, pull right there. Say, and trying here, there's that gap right there taken up, and you just pull, pull, and it's a little stout right there. And you're pulling and you're pulling, and then right there. So if I was to make a count, I would say I'm a little bit like 3 seconds versus maybe 4 to 5 seconds when I'm pulling. So I don't know how well I did that, but it feels a little more resistant. So I'll give this maybe I'll keep you abreast on this. So I'm going to probably try to put 1,000 rounds in this one to see if it will match this one. So, like I said, they're both the same FCUs inside both of these firearms, except for this one's a little more broken in. And also with SIG's FCU program, you're going to notice that on the FCU program, you're going to see some of these triggers that they have for the X series are going to be gold. And this part will still have the same gap, but will look like it's gold in color. It is the same trigger that is in the X5. So don't think about it as, oh, it must be a different trigger because it's a different color. This is a different trigger because it's a newer model. They're all the same triggers, but the only thing it is the packaging on the outside, whether it's the AXG frame or whether it's the tungsten frame. They're all the same triggers. It's just a matter of preference on how you like the feel of it in your hand or how you like the feel of it in this particular hand. I think the difference with this, why it's so popular, and I personally think this is going to be a really big success for SIG, is because you now have a aluminum type frame, a metal type frame. Now there, and that you're able to grip and feel like it's a regular old school firearm. There are other manufacturers. No, 1776 or Bust has done a video with his module, which was the Icarus Precision grips, which look really nice looking. So it's a matter of what frame that you want to use in conjunction with the X5 trigger. So I hopefully that answers a few questions. I want to thank Chris and Chase for contacting me. And at this point, that's all I have. So happy shooting, stay safe, hashtag 2A.